Je te suivrai, oh mon aimé, tout près de toi.
What if the glamorous vampire queen you loved from the Munsters wasn't just playing pretend? What if her real life was darker than any script Hollywood could dream up? Behind Yvonne De Carlo's dazzling blue eyes lurked secrets of sudden deportations, ruthless studio bosses, billionaire obsessions, and heartbreaks so brutal they nearly swallowed her whole career. Stick around because the scandals, betrayals, and shocking twists you're about to hear will change the way you see this silver-screen siren forever. And we're only just sinking our teeth in. A childhood written in disappearing ink. Picture Vancouver in the fall of 1922. Fog curling off the harbor, freight whistles droning through damp streets, and a delivery room shriek, Marie De Carlo demanding, "I want a girl, a dancer." Minutes later, Yvonne was swaddled like a living wish. But fairy tale beginnings snapped when her father, William, skipped town after shady business deals went south. One rumor insisted he'd bribed his way onto a smuggling vessel and vanished beneath Pacific waves. Another whispered he'd simply melted into the American interior under an alias. Either way, 3-year-old Yvonne grew up haunted by an empty chair at the table and a mother determined to plug that void with applause. Marie enrolled her daughter in every dime store dance class she could find, pawning keepsakes to afford tap shoes and rhinestone hairpins. By adolescence, Yvonne's weekends blurred into grueling vaudeville auditions, cue sheets, cramped dressing rooms, snub-nosed casting agents looking her over like livestock. Yet, for each slammed door, Marie coaxed her forward with a mantra, "Stardom is the best revenge." What the stage mom couldn't foresee was that Hollywood's gatekeepers would demand a toll far steeper than stage fright, and the first toll booth stood on Sunset Boulevard. But when Yvonne finally crossed that threshold, the nightmare waiting on the other side nearly derailed her dreams for good. The Earl Carroll Theater glittered with neon promises, the most beautiful girls in the world. But backstage, the shine dulled fast. The booking agent escorted 16-year-old Yvonne into a private evaluation, asking her to pirouette while his eyes lingered everywhere but her footwork. Horror prickled down her spine. Marie stormed out, daughter in tow, believing Hollywood had shown its true colors. Their sanctuary. Florentine Gardens, a raucous rival nightclub where patrons judged acts American Idol style. The owner placed Yvonne center stage, bellowed, "Is she in or out?" and let hoots and whistles decide her fate. Applause roared. She was in. But she was also an undocumented Canadian working a U.S. stage. Immigration agents raided months later, clapped her in cuffs, and marched her across the border. Enter Niels T. Grenlund, the club's publicity-savvy manager. Convinced his chorus girl was a goldmine, he penned frantic letters to Ottawa, promising full-time employment and moral supervision. Bureaucrats relented. Yvonne returned triumphantly, stamped paperwork in her purse. Within weeks, she snagged a bit part in Paramount's Road to Morocco, then toppled 20,000 hopefuls to clinch Salome, where she danced. Her secret weapon? Canadian Air Force pilots who adored her pin-up photos and bombarded Universal with telegrams demanding their blue-eyed goddess land the lead. The studio caved. Overnight, she morphed from chorus waif to exotic bombshell, swirling veils and all. Yet every spotlight casts a longer shadow, and the next figure to step from that darkness wore a director's chair like a crown. Loves that left bruises. Billy Wilder was Hollywood's hottest import, chiseling Double Indemnity while resetting the rules of film noir. He also adored contradictions. He praised Yvonne's radiance, then joked she wasn't his type because she was far too stunning. The odd chemistry sparked a clandestine romance in a rented bungalow, midnight script pages scattered beside discarded costume jewelry. Wilder's estranged wife still signed the lease on his heart, though, and when fledgling actress Doris Dowling fluttered onto his radar, Yvonne's role in his life wrapped without warning. Enter Howard Hughes, the billionaire aviator who turned obsessions into industries. After screening Salome 5 times, he flew 1,200 miles to crash a Vancouver wrap party just to meet her. He whisked Yvonne above the clouds in his private plane, taught her to climb and dive, but refused to let her truly pilot, a metaphor for the entire liaison. Dates were thrilling aerial loops, followed by emotional free falls. He'd ghost her for weeks, then reappear with a half smile and a brand new Jaguar. Publicly, he labeled her a friend. Privately, he withheld the proposal she craved. When she finally cut the cord, tabloids crowned her Hollywood's #1. One bachelor girl, as if independence were a failing grade. Her rebound, actor Howard Duff, looked like stability, but addiction soon shattered that illusion, steering Yvonne toward a darker heartbreak no studio script could soften. Engagements, loss, and a cry. No studio could drown out. Howard Duff wooed Yvonne with promises of sobriety and Sunday picnics, but champagne flutes kept appearing in his hand like cursed props. She yanked off the engagement ring just months after slipping it on. Still believing love could steady the carousel, she fell for rugged stuntman Jock Mahoney during The Gal Who Took the West. Their romance galloped so fast that by spring she was pregnant and shopping for nursery wallpaper. Routine tests, however, uncovered a massive ovarian cyst. Surgeons removed it and the unborn child in a single devastating procedure. The physical pain paled next to the emotional aftershock. Yvonne spent weeks in a morphine fog, only to awaken to whispers that Mahoney was stepping out with actress Margaret Field. Betrayal added salt to surgical scars, and grief hardened into a resolve. If Hollywood wouldn't grant her dignity off-screen, she'd seize it on-screen. She set her sights on dramatic noir pictures, stories where a femme fatale used wit over wardrobe, and won a coveted role opposite Burt Lancaster in Criss Cross. Critics panned her performance as uneven, yet she'd tasted the seriousness she wanted, and one of cinema's most towering directors was about to widen that door. Cecil B. DeMille was calling, and his set demanded nothing short of biblical transformation. 3 straight years, studio cameramen voted her Queen of Technicolor, crediting those luminous blue eyes that popped on nitrate film. But DeMille, prepping his desert epic, worried they'd look anachronistic beside Moses's burning bush. He told her bluntly, "Brown contacts or the part goes elsewhere." Yvonne countered with test footage, her eyes shimmering against sand-dusted skies. DeMille relented, on one condition: she master ancient shepherding crafts so convincingly that not even a historian could nitpick. Ever the overachiever, she took it further, hauling water, weaving reed baskets until her palms blistered, and memorizing Hebrew blessings her character might have known. Filming ran long. Desert winds scorched makeup off faces, and at night she soaked bruised feet in ice buckets while scribbling diary entries about earning respect, one blister at a time. Oscar buzz soon echoed through studio hallways. Agents begged her to campaign as Best Supporting Actress, virtually a shoo-in. Ego, or maybe exhaustion, pushed her to insist on lead actress consideration. Ballots came out. Her name was absent from both lists. The press spun it as hubris, but Yvonne's private notes confess only regret and renewed determination. Little did she know that a freak accident on a far different set would tumble her finances into free fall and shove her toward the unlikeliest resurrection of her career. A husband crushed, a fortune gone, and a vampire rises. Stuntman Bob Morgan, whom Yvonne wed during the Ten Commandments shoot, embodied the old-school Hollywood daredevil, fearless on-screen, gentle off it. In 1963, he doubled for a marshal in How the West Was Won, tasked with balancing on a log chained between 2 rail cars loaded with timber. One faulty link snapped. Literal tons of wood hammered his body, tearing flesh and nearly severing a leg. For 5 years, he relearned how to walk, while workers' comp wrangling and MGM finger-pointing stalled every hospital bill. Yvonne sold jewelry, downsized homes, even borrowed from friends, an indignity for someone once courted by tycoons. When Universal offered her the Munsters, she hesitated. Wear heavy prosthetics? Deliver sitcom zingers? It felt like burying her dramatic ambitions under pancake white makeup. But 2 sons needed school fees, and Bob's rehab counted pennies. She accepted, then shocked everyone by turning Lily Munster into a matriarch equal parts Morticia and June Cleaver. Her comic timing drew rave reviews, royalties poured in, and lunchbox merchandise kept the lights on at home. She even customized her midnight black Jaguar with spiderweb hood ornaments, till fans unscrewed them for souvenirs. Yet success couldn't silence whispers from her past, and one Broadway legend would soon channel those echoes into a show-stopping anthem. I'm Still Here, Reinvention and Revelation. Stephen Sondheim, workshopping a musical about faded showgirls called Follies, needed an actress who embodied survival with a wink. Yvonne's roller coaster resume fit like evening gloves. On opening night, she belted I'm Still Here, rattling chandeliers with lyrics about skee ball and strip shows and Coney Island. Audiences didn't just applaud, they believed her. The song became shorthand for Hollywood resilience, and critics called her performance a comeback within a comeback. Offstage, truth proved stranger. During a 1975 interview, she dropped a quiet bombshell. William Middleton wasn't her biological father. Her real dad was Polynesian. No names, no dates, just an admission that her own origin story held plot holes the tabloids had never filled. 2 years later, she and Bob Morgan divorced, erosion from medical debt and trauma finally splitting the seam. In 1987, she released Yvonne, an autobiography listing 22 lovers, among them Robert Stack, Burt Lancaster, and a handful of studio moguls, then skewering Hollywood's handsome but hollow men by confessing she'd have preferred someone with Einstein's mind. Each revelation read like a closing argument against the town that both crowned and crucified her. But the cruelest twist of her saga was yet to strike, proving that even icons cannot bargain with fate. A final act written in heartbreak and resilience. Just when Yvonne seemed poised to enjoy her hard-won equilibrium, tragedy blindsided her. In 1997, her eldest son, Bruce, died suddenly. Details stayed private, but friends recall the news flattening her like a stage light dropping from the rafters. A minor stroke followed months later, forcing her into long-term care. For 9 years, she lived in a small Los Angeles facility, decorating her room with Munsters memorabilia and 10 Commandments lobby cards. Staff members often found her humming I'm Still Here between physical therapy sessions, half anthem, half reminder. On January 8, 2007, her heart finally surrendered. She was 84. Headlines mourned a scream queen beauty, but fans knew labels could never cage her story. She'd dodged deportation, wrangled studio titans, and flipped a kitschy sitcom into financial salvation. She survived being typecast, bankrupt, and brokenhearted, yet each time re-emerged under a fresh spotlight. Hollywood taught her that careers are built on razors. Yvonne proved you could dance on those razors and still own the stage. Her legacy isn't just on celluloid, it's in every performer who claws back after a public fall, plants stilettos, and announces, "Roll camera, I'm ready for my close-up." From an absentee father to a billionaire's cold shoulder, from Oscar's self-sabotage to a monster mash miracle, Yvonne De Carlo defied every cliffhanger thrown at her. Her journey reminds us that resilience can wear false eyelashes and a vampire cape, fight studio systems, bury heartbreak, and still strut out under the Klieg lights. Proud to declare, I'm still here.